Okay guys, in today's session, now I'm going to touch base a concept called actions. Okay, working with actions. That is what our focal point today. Okay, now here we go. So let me create a new worksheets. So I'm using source as an Excel source. That's fine. Okay, now go to worksheet. Okay, fine. So now what is the concept that I'm going to discuss is, see, under worksheet, we have a portion called actions. Okay, actions. So these actions are nothing but it is communication. Okay, it is a communication between the source elements. What is that? Communication between the source elements. But where are we placing that source element? In the form of worksheets, right? So these actions establish a kind of a communication layer between the two different worksheets. Okay, within that you have three types of layers. One is filter, URL, and highlight. What is that, guys? Filter, URL, and highlight. So these three functionalities you have under the umbrella of actions. Okay, now let's see how are we going to achieve this, what sort of differences you do have in between. So let's catch up in that way. Okay, here we go, guys. Now let's say I have a category, okay, example, and I have something like sales. Fine. Now let's say similarly I have one more sheet also. Okay, this is sheet 1, and I have one more sheet where I do have category as well as some segment as well as some sales, something like this. You got me? So we have what? Multiple dimensions and a single measure here, and here single dimension, single measure. Fine. Now what is the case? I mean to say the rule is like, so this is the rule that we are going to define. Let's say whenever I am going to hit on any element of sheet 1, it is supposed to go to the sheet 2 automatically to the respective elements, whatever here. So look at this. For example, here I have chosen technology. So automatically it has to go to the sheet 2 of technology related data. Okay, so that is what. I hope every one of you understood the requirement. Okay, it's simple. In sheet 1, whatever I have the data elements like furniture and office supplies and technology, something like that. Okay, whenever I select office supplies like this, immediately automatically it has to go to the sheet 2 office supplies related data, something like this. Okay, so how we can achieve this? So this can be achievable with the help of this actions functionality. Within these actions, as I said, you have filter, URL, and highlight functionalities you do have. Okay, now let me show you right away how we can achieve this. Okay, firstly what we supposed to do is, first go to worksheet. You have to define the, but before that what you can do, right, you just define that labels for this. Okay, like this, labels. Fine. Now once you define the labels and the prerequisite colors or whatever, let's say let's say for category, let's say I would like to define a color. Fine, something like this. You do the prerequisites like this. Fine. So once you're done with this, go to worksheet. You have what? Actions. What is that? Actions. Okay, now add an action. So what you have? Filter, highlight, URL. See, I mentioned, right? Filter, highlight, URL. Do you agree with me, guys? See, you have what? Filter, highlight, URL. Now I am going to choose as filter. Filter is nothing but it is kind of a restrictions you are applying on top of a report. Okay, in this case on top of a worksheet. That is what our intention. Okay, fine. Add a filter. Now, so here, what is the source? The source is my sheet 1. So whenever I choose a particular element in my sheet 1, it has to go to sheet 2. So source becomes my sheet 1. Okay, now sheet 2 what your target. Okay, sheet 2 what is your target. Now within this actions filter, I said filter, you have what? You have three functionalities like hover, select and menu. Hover, select and menu comes under the category of a filter. Okay, now look at this. Now what am I going to do? Now I am going to choose the source sheet as well as the destination sheet. Fine. Okay, now see, sheet 1 becomes my source, sheet 2 becomes my target. Now I am going to choose hover. Okay, what is that? Hover. Fine, just click on top of it. Fine, just click OK. Now look at this. What happened? Whenever I hit on technology, see, it has been jumped into sheet 2 of technology related values. It is showing me only technology values. Okay, you got me, guys? Now similarly, now look at this. Let me jump to sheet 1 again. Now look at this. Whenever I hit on furniture, look at this. Whenever I move my mouse pointer to furniture, look at this. Okay, it is going to show me all the furniture values. See, all the office supplies. Similarly, if I go to sheet 1, look at this, technology. So look at this, technology related values. Similarly, when I go to furniture, look at this. I mean, whenever you move the mouse pointer right away there, see, furniture values. So this is what called as hover functionality. Hover with under the category of actions. You got the difference, right, guys? Look at this. Whenever I move to technology, look at this, supplies, office supplies. Or when I move to technology, look at this, say technology related values, something like this. Okay, now are we clear with this, guys? This is what hover. Now if you want to define any colors and all, you can, absolutely, you are welcome with that. Okay, so this is the way to deal with this filter under hover functionality. Okay, see, something like this. Okay, guys, any questions with this, please? Any questions with this, please? Okay.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Ganesh, Harish.
Yes, Harish.
Harish here. Is it compulsory that it should be in sheet 2 or any other sheets?
It could be any. It could be any sheet. It's
automatically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Automatically it wrote it. But what you need to do is you need to define what is source sheet and what is destination sheet. See here, what are we trying to do under actions? See, if I edit this, what are we trying to do? Here we are defining the source sheet. And target sheet, you can choose anything. It doesn't mean that it should be only a sheet 2. No. Okay. But
Okay.
all those things should be a part of your dashboard. That is the rule. Okay.
Okay.
Got it, Harish?
Sorry for interruption, Ganesh. So in a target sheets, can we select multiple sheets?
Most of the cases we used to choose specific sheets only. Okay. But still, that is also possible. But you have to create a different filter for that. Okay?
Okay.
Now, here you have to give a name for the filters also. Okay? Now, let's say something like, I can say like what? Sales, something like this. Okay? Request. Now,
is it like a drill through function in other traditional reporting things?
I can't say exactly, but it is similar to. Not exactly, but it is similar to. Okay?
Okay.
Now,
thanks.
Yeah. Now, the another functionality that I'm going to touch base is what? Select. So far, what we have seen is what? Hover functionality. Now, let's focus on select. Okay, select. Now here we go, guys. So let's see how we can achieve this. Okay, now what am I going to do is, now I'm going to create one more sheet. Okay, that is sheet 3. Now in this sheet, let's say I'm going to choose category. Okay, I'm going to choose category and some different measure. So it could be sales or profit or whatever it is. Okay, fine. And I'm also choosing some other dimension called segment, whatever it is. Okay, fine. In this way, I have a stuff. Okay, now you have to observe very keenly here, guys. Now look at this. When I sheet 3, I have it right. See, why it is moving into sheet 2? Isn't it? See, I'm at sheet 3 level. See, I'm choosing something like furniture, but why it is moving into sheet 2? Tell me. You got the functionality here? See, I have added a new sheet, okay, where I have chosen some elements, fine. But whenever I move my mouse pointer here, why it is pointing to sheet 2? Because by default, okay, by default, under this filter, sheet 3 also is selecting by default. So that is the reason it is moving automatically into your sheet 2. So that is the reason. What you're supposed to do, you have to uncheck, okay, for that specific as a source, for that specific sheet as a source. Now click OK. Now look at this. You are at sheet 3, right? Now you no need to have any disturbances, something like this. Okay, right, guys? Are we clear with this? So simply we have to, so keep in mind, whenever you are define a filter and whenever you add a sheet, by default that would be taken as a source. So you have to disable that manually. That is compulsion. Okay, that is a rule. Because Tableau is not having that intelligence, because it might think that yes, this is also as a part of a source. So that is the reason you have to disable that manually. That is our responsibility again on top of it. Okay, clear, guys? Now what am I going to do? Now I'm going to discuss a functionality of select, right? A functionality of select. Now look at this. Again, go to worksheet. If you want, you can create a new filter, or else you can edit the existing one itself, either way. So let's do one thing. So we'll create a new filter. What is the that? Okay, filter. Okay, so what is the source? Source becomes your sheet 2, because now I would like to jump from sheet 2 to sheet 3. So that is the reason sheet 2 becomes my source and target becomes my sheet 3. Okay, see. Now this time I'm going to choose what? Select functionality, not hover, select. Okay, fine. Now don't forget to give a proper naming convention for your filters or whatever it is. See, look at this. Run on what? Run on select. So this time let's say markets, something like that. Okay, so select functionality I'm using. Fine. Now look at this. So look at this, sheet 2. Okay, what happened? Only the specific value, but here you have to choose it manually, something like this. See, not the mouse pointer. When I move mouse pointer, is not moving like that. You have to select it, the respective value. See, like that. Got it, guys? See, home office. So it will show you all the relevant home office values. Okay, so this is the way to deal with the select functionality, because here I am selecting it manually. Okay, yes, I'm selecting with my mouse pointer manually. See, in this way. But in the hover functionality, what happened? See, hover, whenever I choose, my mouse pointer is there, automatically it is pointing towards the respective values in respective sheet, in another sheet. But in this one, right, I am going to choose it manually like this. I'm selecting a specific header. So that is the reason it is jumping into sheet 3. This is what? A select functionality. Right? Are we clear with this, guys?
Ganesh, when we are drilling down from second to third, but we didn't select any column, right? Like the dimension one it should work on a category or a segment, because in sheet 2 we have two dimensions. So
Exactly.
where we are defining that, say in the report we have some 8 to 10 dimensions. So how we
Exactly.
come to know which? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you
See,
understand the question.
yes, I got your question. See,
Okay.
even anywhere in the function filter level, see, even over here also, I have never defined any kind of a dimension value. This has to be routed like this, right?
Yeah.
So, see, even over here also, simply when I choose a respective value, see, it is giving me the corresponding values in my sheet 2. So even in case 1 also, I have not defined anything like a category is equals to furniture, something like that. I have not defined. That is the functionality behavior that we should accept it. Okay. Now, irrespective of the number of dimensions, now look at this. For example, I have segment something over here. Now I might have, see, something value, different value, but it will pick up all the corresponding values based upon your sheet 2. Look at this. See, it is giving you related to region also. But I am not giving anywhere, right, to a specific dimension or to a specific measure. So that is the functionality of this select variable. I mean to say select filter part. You got it me right, Aman?
Yeah, Ganesh, I got it. But it's compared to the traditional tools, somewhat different. This is.
Exactly. This is an advanced functionalities you have. But in a traditional tools, as you said, yes, you have to let them exclusively know that, hey, yes, this is equal to this is something like that. You have to exclusively mention. But in this case, it is not required. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, sir. Yeah. Now, once you have this element, right, later on you can apply filters or whatnot. Plenty of stuff you can do. You can do the colors, whatnot. Everything can be accepted. Okay. So this is the way. Now the another functionality. Now look at this, guys. You have to understand this functionality between these sheets. Now look at this. I'm at sheet 1. Whenever I move my mouse pointer here, now look at this. It is being reached to technology. Now here, when I select a particular value, see, again, it is giving me sheet 3 values, according value, like that. Okay. So this is what the functionalities that we should, in a real time, we used to keep on perform this sort of activities. Okay, fine. That is what select functionality. Okay, select. Now what is the another one? That is what menu. Okay, so this menu I will cover with this URL function. Okay, with this URL. Okay, now look at this. Now let's say now look at this, guys. Now what am I going to do is, now I'm going to touch base the concept of URL. Now in this URL I'm going to touch base with menu option. Okay, fine. But before that, I can tell you one thing, guys. Look at this. Let's say you have a, so how many worksheets you have? 3 worksheets. So let me give a name in this way. Just an example for your better understanding. Okay, something like this. But don't give like this in a real time. In a real time, we have to make it a sensible information. Okay, fine. Now these 3 what? ABC are what? Worksheets. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me, guys? Worksheets. Now look at this. Now I'm going to create a dashboard. See, look at this. This is icon. This is worksheet icon. This is the dashboard. So in a dashboard is nothing but it is a mixture of different worksheets, and those worksheets might come from different data source. Who knows? Okay. Now look at this. So I have how many worksheets? 3 worksheets. Now look at this. So select, right click, add to dashboard. Fine. Now add to dashboard. See, again, add to dashboard. Now in this dashboard, now if you observe very keenly, look at this. Now you have 3 sheets. So whatever the functionality you are working here, it should work even in dashboard also. Now look at this. When I move my mouse pointer to furniture, look at here. On the right side, B sheet, look at this. Furniture, office supplies. See, because I'm moving the mouse pointer over here, look at this. In a sheet, I mean A tab, in A block, look at this. You got me, guys? Look at this. Technology related values. Office supplies values in B sheet, in B column. Okay, now look at this. So whenever I come out of that A sheet, see, it is giving the actual values again. But whenever I move my mouse values to the specific value, see, it is giving you the corresponding values. But when I come out of that, it is showing you a normal behavior. Okay, now again, when I choose a particular value, corporate, look at here. Here, you need to observe this. In C tab. Now look at this. When I choose home office, look at this. These values are keep on changing, isn't it? See. Do you agree with me, guys? See. This is what a functionality of a dashboard. In a dashboard, you can have different worksheets. And those worksheets, you might have it from different data sources. Okay. So this kind of a functionality you can easily achievable. Look at this. How user-friendly it is. Do you agree with me, guys? See. See how user-friendly it is. Isn't it? Yep, absolutely. See, in sheet 3 it is keep on changing. Okay. So this is the actual benefit. Now you got the core benefit, right, guys? Every one of you. This is the actual benefit. Because end user doesn't care about your worksheets. End user care about your dashboard only. Okay. So that is the reason. You got me, right? So this is the functionality of this dashboard. Anyhow, dashboard I'm going to touch base later point of time. Don't worry with that. But I just want to let you know that this is the way to implement this kind of functionalities in a dashboard level. Okay. So this is the way, guys. So in a dashboard, you can have it multiple worksheets. There is no restriction like that. Okay. So and this kind of functionality in a traditional tools, right? It was very difficult to achieve. I mean to say, difficult in the sense I can say like, it needs to be involve some kind of additional functionalities. For example, in a business objects level, like, document link functionality. So this kind of a stuff that we need to perform. But within a Tableau, you can achieve it very advanced way with easy steps, with very easy steps. So that is the beauty behind it. Okay. Yep. Any questions, guys? Any questions, please? Okay. Now, what am I going to discuss now? URL functionality, okay, with menu topic, with menu, whatever it is, okay. Now, let's have a look. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to create one more worksheet. See, worksheet. Let's say I'm keeping that name as, okay, fine. Now, let's say I am choosing like, yeah. And guys, one more thing is, within this URL, you have a functionalities, like 4 different functionalities, like static, dynamic, FTTP, and folder. Okay, what are the 4 ways, guys? Static, dynamic, FTTP, and folder. Okay, now let me show you one by one. Okay, here we go. So as usual, I'm going to choose respective elements. Fine. And I'm going to choose as a measure. Okay, so you have these values. See again, see, it is going to sheet 2. Did you observe this? See, I'm at D4, I mean D sheet. See, again it is going to sheet 2. Why? The reason because you have to, under actions, you have to disable that. Am I right? See, as a source, you have to disable that sheet. So how many filters? I have 2 filters. So in those 2 filters, you have to do in this way. Yep, absolutely. Okay. Yes, we have to do it. Now that's functionality, that filtering functionality, now we have disabled it. Now look at this. So now it works as usually. Okay. You got me, guys? Now that is one step. And now let's say I have a website called something like, Wikipedia, or let's say I can say like Facebook, whatever it is. Okay. Yeah, I have a URL called Facebook. Fine. Now what am I going to do? Now I'm going to define this hyperlinking functionality. I mean to say this user functionality. Now look at this. What I can do, just open up your dashboard, go to Worksheet, Actions. Now this time, what am I going to do, guys? I'm going to choose what? Not a filter. I'm going to choose what? URL, because I'm discussing with the URL functionality here, right? Now look at this. I'm going to choose what? URL. Fine. So what is your source sheet? Source sheet is what? D. And you don't have a target here, isn't it? Now look at this. Now here, let's say FB, Facebook. Now that URL, that respective URL, I'm going to place it here. Okay. That URL, whatever I am supposed to refer, right? That I'm going to place it here. Now if you want, you can test it. That's fine. Okay. So now the destination, I'm going to choose only the sheet, and you don't have a target here because you are going to define a URL here. That is the reason. Okay. Facebook. Fine. Now I'm going to choose what? Menu. You are going to choose what, guys? Menu. Fine. Okay. Then look at the iconic differences. Okay. Fine. Okay. Now under sheet 2, now look at this. Whenever you under D sheet, whenever you move your mouse point, look at this. What is this? The tooltip, right? Why it is showing as FB? You got me, right? Now look at this. So whenever I hit on FB on this, now look at this. It will try to open the respective web page. See, it is automatically opened a web page. Look at this. Again, I'll show you. See, my tooltip is showing about office supplies and all those things. On top of it, now look at this. I have FB. So now it is directly pointing towards Facebook. Okay, guys. So this is the way. Now you can ask me a question. Can we add multiple URLs like that? Absolutely. Why not? Absolutely, you can add. Okay. You got it here, right? Now. Right, guys. Are we good with this? Every one of you. Are we good with this? Okay. Fine. Now, again, go to Actions. Okay. And this time, I'm adding one more URL functionality. Okay. Again, I'm going to define the destination as this one. Okay. And again, here, what am I going to do? So let's say this is, okay. Now, here, I'm going to define what? Again, a menu functionality. Okay. But you can do multiple, I mean to say, you can define a multiple measures also. I'm sorry, not multiple URLs, I can say. Now look at this. For example, you have this sheet, right? Now this time I'm going to define it as, let's say, something like Google. And I'm going to choose as menu only. Okay, fine. Now look at this. Okay, so how many menu functions with the URL? You have 2 functions, right? Now look at this. One is FB and another one is something Ganesh. If you want me to edit, you can edit also. Let's say, see. Okay, something like that. Fine. Now click OK. Now look at this. Now what is supposed to happening? Now look at this. See, when you are dealing with the tooltips, you have 2 functionalities here, multiple URLs. So you can choose either ways as per your need basis. Look at this. Okay. So in this way, we can define this functionality with the multiple measures. Okay. Yeah. Now look at this. So whenever I move my tooltip like this, see, it will show you 2 values, 2 URLs. So you can choose as per your need basis. So you can choose whatever you want. Okay. Yep. So this is what static. Yep. Yes, guys. Please. Are we good with this? Any questions?
Ganesh, but
Yes.
what is the purpose of this URL? I have not seen like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
See, the purpose is, let's say, this technology values something. It is embedded with some other third-party web portal. Okay, you got me right? So whenever I hit on this particular data header, it is supposed to route it through a third-party website. Okay, third-party website, or it could be your SharePoint. Okay, whatever it is. So if that is the case, we will be using this functionality. So from here itself, we will be routing into some web-based applications. But in fact, at this moment, you are not at a web-based application. You are at a desktop application. But from this, to interact with another set of data, you can jump into web applications like your SharePoint portals, whatnot, like this, like your repository portals, all those things. Okay.
Okay.
You got it right, Bhargavi?
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, guys. Any other questions, please? Okay. Right. Now, I am going to touch base with the dynamic, I can say like what? Dynamic functionality of your URL functionalities. Let's see. Go to worksheets. You have actions. So let me remove this. The older one, I'm just deleting it. Yeah. Okay. Now look at this. In this case, I'll give it as Wikipedia or something. So this time I'll mention it as dynamic, okay? Dynamic dashboard, sorry, dynamic functionality, and I'm going ahead with select. So here, see, the destination would be as it is, okay? Destination would be as it is. Now, I'm going to choose a URL something like, okay. Wikipedia. So something like a URL, I have it here, okay? Some URL like this. So let's say I'm going to place this URL, okay, in my filtering functionality level. Now look at this. So this is the URL, okay? Fine. Now what am I going to do? So since it is a dynamic one, guys, not a static one, it is a dynamic one. Now what am I going to do? Now, see, look at this. On the top, on the right side, you have this URL. Next to this, you have what? See, you have this element. So whenever you hit on this box, right, look at this over here. It will show you the corresponding values. Okay, corresponding values. Right? See, these corresponding values are being picked up from your data source. Okay, has been picked up from your data source. Got it, guys? Now look at this. Now what am I going to do? Now I'm going to choose one specific value. Let's say region. See, inside a bracket, you will have a region like this. So which means you have defined a dynamic functionality. You will see this option over here. Right here. Okay. Write it, guys. Right? Now click OK. Now if you want, you can allow multiple values, whatnot. Okay. Plenty of stuff you can perform it here. Okay. You can allow the multiple values as well. Like that, you can ask me a question. Can we choose multiple data source elements? Yes, absolutely. You can choose. It doesn't mean that we have to choose only one reporting element. No, nothing like that. You can choose multiple. Okay. Now this time what am I going to do? I'm going to use select functionality. Okay, fine. Now click OK. Right, now look at this. Click OK. Fine. Now whenever I look at this, of course I do not have a region here, right? 1 second. Okay, what I did here, now look at this. See, it is going to the respective website. Of course it should go to the as per the regions wise. Okay, but unfortunately I do not have a region data here. That is the reason. Okay, I'm choosing this way. Now look at this. Okay, so it is going to the region wise. Now look at this, east Wikipedia. Okay, east region. Now when I choose west, look at this. See, west region Wikipedia. Right, now look at this. When I choose central, look at this, central Wikipedia region. That's how it works. This is what dynamic functionality. See, when I choose south, again it will go to south Wikipedia. So it has been what? It has been classified based upon the regional values, whatever you're selecting at a dynamic level. So this is the beauty behind it. Okay guys, are we good with this? Every one of you, are we good with this? This is what? A dynamic functionality. Okay, this is what? Dynamic. Right. Any questions with this? Any questions, please?
Hello, Ganesh.
Yes, please.
Radhika here.
Yes, Radhika, please.
Hello. When we
Yes,
choose
Radhika.
static and dynamic,
Okay. See, static in the sense, simply it will route it to a third party. I mean, it will route it to a web application. Simply, okay, some URL based application. Simply it will route it, but it never classify the data based upon the reporting element. That is what a static, which is fixed one. But dynamic in the sense, it will route it to the different web portals based upon the values which are available in that specific filtering criteria. Okay.
okay, Ganesh. Thank you.
Now look at this. So simple, Radhika. Whenever, see, I have a west here, right? West in the sense, when I hit on this west, see, it is going to the west region automatically. That URL is routing into the west region automatically. Now, similarly, south. Look at this. It is routing into the south region. So customer is no need to specify any specific values manually. So based upon the regional values available in your dashboard, it is routing into the respective websites. This is what dynamic. Static in the sense, whatever the URL you are mentioned in that specific functionality of the filter, it will route of the URL, it will route it. But when it is recommended in the sense, static and dynamic is having their own advantages. So if end user would like to filter the values at a runtime itself, then we will be going ahead with the dynamic URL. If not, we will be going ahead with the static. Okay, Radhika, is that clear with you?
Yeah, clear. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys, please? Okay. Now the another one what I'm going to discuss is FTTP. Of course, this FTTP, I do not have any other server with me at this moment, but what I can say is, look at this. Here simply we'll be placing the what I can say, like the respective location. That's it. Okay, I mean to say the server details will place it here. So automatically it will route it to a different server. Okay, different server. That is what an FTTP functionality. But to deal with this FTTP, right? Your Tableau admin will give you the FTTP details. Okay, So simply it will route it to a different location. That is what I can say. Okay, FTTP location, file transport prototype. Okay, but probably the reason is, unfortunately, I do not have another system which is configured with the Tableau. So that is the reason I may not show you in a full-fledged way, but I can give a heads up on top of this. So what it will do, right? This FTTP simple. Okay, so where we will be giving, I can say like the FTTP location here. That's it. Okay. But I can do one thing. I can show with you the folder. The folder and FTTP is similar. It looks like. Okay. Okay. Now, look at this, guys. So what am I going to do is I'll show you with the folder. Then you will have a clear picture. Okay. So let me remove this. Okay. And keep in mind, whenever we are defining the folder, right, it accepts only the forward slashes. Anyhow, I'm going to show you right away. Look at this. So yeah, let me define an action. Okay. So what is that? URL. The destination is what? Sheet 4 only. So what is this? Folder stuff. Okay. Now, let's say I have it in my desktop. Let's say this is the material that it's supposed to open. So this is the dump. This is the location. Okay. Now, this is the location. Now, I just need to copy that location. Okay. Just you need to copy that location. Now, I'm going to do what? Folder wise. So here, simply you have to place that, but it accepts only forward slash, where you are jumping from one system to another system. So this folder could be in different server also. Fine, accepted. It could be in different server also. Fine, that is fine. Okay, getting, guys? So this could be in different server also. Now that location, I can say, yeah, it is a folder stuff. Okay. Now I'm going to choose as select. Okay, select. Now look at this. Fine. Now look at this. Click OK. So what will happen whenever I select something? Look at this. It will show you like this hyperlink may run potentially harmful software on your computer, because you are integrating, I mean, you are routing it to different server, right? So that is the reason it will show you. That's fine. Click yes. What happened? Let me close this. This window is already open here. That is the reason. Okay. Now, what happened?
Ganesh, can you open that URL once?
Not URL. I'm just looking at. Okay, one second.
Folder.
Yeah. Give me a second. So this title, what it is having the file? Is forward or backward?
No drive specifications there. The particular drive.
Oh, okay. Correct. So that let's check it out. This is a forward slash, and here we define the drive also. I think, let's see. Yeah. Okay. Now look at this. The respective drive has been opened. So what I did is, yeah, as he said, right, I have not given mistakenly the path. I mean, this is the drive location. That is the reason. Now look at this. So simple. Under worksheets, what I have defined? Look at this. The specific drive followed by forward slashes. Okay. Followed by forward slashes. That's it. Okay, now, so this is the path that I have given. Now, when I click OK, fine. Now look at this. On any region, when I ever hit on it, now it will show you this message, and it will show you the respective location. It could be within the server or it could be outside the server. I mean to say, it could be a third-party server also. Third party in the sense, it could be in a different server, I mean to say. So that is also accepted in this. Now from here, you can open the respective files. All those things can be done. Okay. Tell me guys. So similarly, FTTP is also same stuff, but we'll be giving some specific location. That's it. Okay. Any questions with this, please? Any questions with this?
Ganesh, Harish here. For example, like the central that you highlighted there in the report itself, can we open file directly related to that central into the folder? I mean, like there is a name called central.pdf file into that particular location.
Okay.
Based on
so
that central.
Case, yeah, if that is the case, what you need to do, you have to define this path, okay, with respect to again respective element. Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, .pdf and all.
Whatever it is. Okay.
Okay.
With respect to that respective element. Okay. Related element that we need to choose. That is acceptable. Okay. Is that clear, Harish?
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Right, guys. Now, the next one that what we are going to discuss is, see, we have gone through static, dynamic, FTTP, and folder. And keep in mind, this folder accepts only forward slashes. Okay. The next one is highlight. Highlight is nothing but it will highlight the data. That's it. Okay. But anyhow, let me show you right away. Okay. So go to worksheets, actions. Let me remove this. Okay. Let me add action. But this is what? Highlight. Highlight. Now, source is what? Let's say source is C sheet and destination is D. Fine. Now this time I'm going to choose select. So what is the functionality I'm using? Highlight functionality. Okay. Now look at this. What happened? Highlight. That's it. Okay. Select. Fine. Now what will happen? Look at this. When I am in sheet C, see, it never moved to the next file. It never jumped. Okay, automatically you have to route it to in this way. So the respective value will get highlighted in this way. Now look at this. Let's say, you have what? What you have selected here, central related value. Now if I go to sheet D, the central will get highlighted in this way. But highlighted is dark color. That is the reason. Now look at this. When I choose south, it will highlight only the south values. Look at this. Only the south values. See, look at the icon. Okay. Now, when I choose west, in my D sheet, it will highlight only west sheet. Look at this, west one. Something like this is what? Highlighting functionality.